one more about Gavin Newsom, then I want to talk about Union Station. As you all know, if you watch the morning meeting or pay attention, Gavin Newsom and his digital team are just all in on fighting Donald Trump on TikTok and I mean on Twitter and X and being very, and Gavin Newsom is doing play-by-play. He's doing these interviews where he's quite openly saying, like, here's what we're doing. And here's a clip of him on a show with a bunch of liberal commentators mocking Fox News and the New York Post for their tender mercies, saying, oh my God, how horrible that someone's on social media being provocative. Here's Governor Newsom, 18.
I mean, even poor Kid Rock. These guys, they've become a little precious, haven't they? These folks at Fox. They're like, oh, this is so unbecoming of a governor. Oh. And meanwhile, they sit there reading his tweets every single day. Are they that totally out of touch? I mean, it's jaw-dropping how precious and concerned New York Post has gotten all of a sudden. How the Wall Street Journal Ed Board is like, oh, no, we can't have this. I mean, what? I hope we're exposing it all. I hope we're exposing it all, and I hope we're entertaining some people.
Now, Karen, even Newsom-hating Republicans like Kristin Davis couldn't help but laugh at that. That's a very attractive side of Gavin Newsom. But I have a theory. Elites love this. Those elite liberal podcasters loved it. The morning meeting loved it. I hear a lot of Democratic consultants, and Jim Demers, one of the leading Democrats in New Hampshire, whose endorsement anyone running for president would want to have if New Hampshire primary matters, was quoted this morning in Politico, I think, saying, yeah, this is awesome. But then this poll comes out in Politico saying that he's barely beating Kamala Harris amongst Democrats and independents who lean Democratic in California. Like, is it possible that this is great for online people and for elites, but voters don't care?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think a couple of things about this whole Gavin Twitter storm. First of all, I think number one, it shows that the Democrats are actually alive and, doing something. Secondly, it allows the bully to get bullied. Just like he said, a little precious. Is Trump actually untouchable? No, he's actually a real person, and he can have the mirror shown on himself. And then I'd say, well, to what end? So we're alive and we can also bully back, but is this going to backfire? I mean, it could backfire as kind of a childish thing. People are dealing with real problems. They can't afford real eggs. They can't afford, their electricity bills. So is this kind of like a and kind of turn people off? Or could it help politically? Could it, start to bridge the generational divide? It reminds me a little bit of when, like in the 90s when Clinton played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show. It showed him to be kind of real. I think that numbers in California with Californians are tired of Gavin and they're tired of Kamala, just like any state gets tired of their people. So I'd say for Gavin, the play is much more, what does it do electorally in the country?
Yeah, I will say my experience running for president as a governor when your own people are not enthusiastic about you is a constant headache. Just a constantly comes up. Like if your own voters aren't excited about you. Now he's been around forever on the stage, but still, if I were him, I'd be worried about that. Kristin, it's great to run for president as a Democrat, and the mirror is true of a Republican, where the people in the other party fear you, and some of them like you. Some of them say, well, maybe I'll cross over and be Republicans for Newsom. 3 months ago, no such thing. Republicans were like, bring him on. He'd be sitting duck in a general. And I think you could search for months in California and anywhere else. You couldn't find a Republican who'd say, yeah, maybe I'd vote for that guy. Or one or both of those potentially changing because of this new shtick?
Yeah, and I think, when Trump does it or JD or anyone else, what they were so gifted at is you take the oxygen away from everyone else. So we can go back and forth on whether the tweets itself are actually humanizing Gavin or making Republicans like him. The most important thing he's doing is we are not sitting here talking about Josh Shapiro or Andy Beshear or, Governor Whitmer. We are talking about Gavin, and we have been for a while. Every time he does a tweet or sends something, he's taken from the Trump playbook and taking the oxygen, so then no one else can really break through. And then he just kind of becomes the guy because that's like the only people we're talking about. Now, to Karen's point, to what end, what does he do with that new attention and having that place.
Yeah.
You know, the New York Times article today showing that Democrats are hemorrhaging voter registration. I mean, if I'm Gavin Newsom, I eventually get to a point where it's like, let's turn this into a fun way to re-up our registration because we're getting our butts kicked everywhere. So how does he translate that into actual action? Because he isn't Trump, so he can't survive on that alone,
Right.
The way Trump was. But, you know, right now, I think it's not even about the tweets. It has nothing to do with it. It's just he's taken the oxygen away from everyone else.
Right.
And as long as he does that, I think it works.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.